Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Vitra Meet the Designer Talks number one. Our first guest is Arik Levy. He's a great designer, very passionate artist, and a good friend. So, hi, Arik. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Adam. I'm so happy we can, unite through this.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see you and to talk. And I know there are also many people watching us now, and they are wondering many things. So I mean, so if you want, we can talk about tonight about the in general about design. We can talk about our process, that how you collaborated with Vitra,
Mhm.
and also about the collection, the Voyage, because it is recent launch totally. And then we can also talk about today, future, and everything. So I mean, I think it will be very exciting to talk to you.
Sounds great because that's exactly what I would like to talk about.
Okay. So, uh, did I say you I love you, Arik?
I think we should start with that.
Yes. Everything starts with love.
Exactly. Thank you.
So, Arik, I mean, what inspired you to become a designer? So, I mean, I know that you are not only a designer, you're doing many other things like surfing, cooking, and playing drums. But I mean, what else? I mean, so how did you become a designer? What was your biggest motivation there?
It's an interesting question because I keep on asking myself this question: uh, was it a choice? What is not a choice? And I know it wasn't. It wasn't a choice. It was a necessity. I grew up in Israel. I lived there till I was 28. I was having to reinvent and invent myself every day, find solutions, get things together. If I needed something, I had to make it, or I had to invent it, or I had to work hard in many different type of jobs to get the money to buy it, and so on. The reality in Israel when I grew up there and still is tough. And this notion of survival has brought me into the situation where I was practicing. I started painting when I was 15, 14, 15, painting in exhibition and so on. But design is a gateway, is a gate into everyday's life. And everything I see around me is talking to me, and I look at something, I say, okay, but that could be different this way, that would be more practical, that would be more efficient, that will solve this problem, that problem, and so on. I could not live my everyday life without having a criticism, a self-criticism about me and myself, but also about the environment. And I realized that I built and made things through necessity. So I was called and I designed a wetsuit. I'm talking about 45 years ago. I went to a diving suit manufacturer and I designed my own wetsuit because I was called, because we did not have wetsuits of this kind. And I used different materials and so on. I designed many different things for the sports that I like, or for our habitat, and so and so. And I realized that I knew how to do it. Painting helped me to do graphic design because I could paint. We had no computers. We couldn't design on Illustrator or InDesign or whatnot. Everything was drawn by hand. So if you could not control a brush, you could not do this. So I realized after time that actually, first, I love doing it. Second, I have a word to say, and I'm saying it because I'm involved actively in my life and everybody's life around me. And I'd like to make a progress. I'm not here on Earth just to go from left to right and have a drink. I have a mission, and I need to. Do you want me to stop?
So what I understood is that it is born from your nature. So it was
Yes.
kind of a necessity. Your environment, your inside, outside, everything is push you to this. But then you work with many clients, and then I also like to ask. So what projects have you enjoyed most working on it? So I mean, what was your favorite projects? I mean, besides the voyage that you worked with me. So.
Of course, working with you was the summit of all this.
I know.
I think my biggest project is the environment, the studio that I've created, and actually I'm creating every day. And the most exciting material is intelligence and emotions. So I do not zoom. We zoom now, but generally I do not zoom my professional life into a product. It's not about a lamp or a seat or whatever design, or a ring or a room. It's about the process. It's about the people, the world. For me, the world is about people, not about objects. It's you and me. It's our contact that made a lot happen. It's not only because my drawing was good, beautiful or not beautiful. It's because it had function, because it brought solutions to the systems and all the way down to the users. So it's what I like most is problem solving, innovating, going forward, looking forward, not backward, and doing things that I've not done before. Because to me, the pure innovation and pure creativity is going with your body and mind to a place you've never been before. Otherwise, it's kind of an interpretation, redrawing, rewriting poetry with the same kind of language and so on, which is absolutely okay, but it is not. I need to learn at least minimum one new thing every day, and I need to get to a place mentally, physically, metaphysically that I have not been before.
Great. So you stop answering, or is it you want me to continue for the questions?
I can practically speak about 48 hours without sleeping, but the project. No, but it's important. It's important. Your interruption was important. Is that the projects that are, I would say, see it from a different angle. The projects that are the most successful projects I've done or we have done in the studio, because I don't work alone. My team is great, and I'm proud of them, and it's important.
But how do you define success, Arik?
I haven't found success.
No. I mean, how they define? Because you said most successful project.
How I define successful project is not success. Successful project is a project that answer the questions that were questioned and also the unquestioned question. It means giving solution. We are not here, designer, as it is my designer part. I'm not here to create a product for creating a product and then have an opening or a party or go to Milano. So this is not the reason why I design. I design to create progress for society, to create progress for the user, to create progress and advance the company that I'm working with, to push them to go to a place they've never been before and innovate and create something new. It can be a process, could be a material, could be a collaboration, could be a software, whatever we can invent and innovate, but all with the purpose that is tangible to our life and to our moment and time in life, because we do not live in 1960. We do not live in 2048. We live now. We produce for now. So projects are taking maybe 2-3 years. We start in 3 years, and in 3 years, the products are there. So we have to live in that near future, but also conceive the environment that people can adapt to. Because the only thing that has not changed in the world, probably the only thing that hasn't changed, transportation change, inhabited change, agriculture change, everything you can think of, what we were changed, how we walk, how we talk, and so on. So what did not change is human. The body has not changed. 30,000 years ago, 500,000 years ago, we still had a heart, a kidney, a lungs, a nose, more or less air, but the body didn't change, and the needs were the same. You woke up in the morning, you need to go to the loo, you need to do this, you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to drink water, you need oxygen. Basics. These basics have not changed.
Okay, great. So, can we come to all collaboration a little bit so that it becomes maybe more exciting?
Yes.
So, how we met? How you decide to collaborate with Petra, first of all?
And our history is personal, Erdem. It's I've hardly had any projects of which I just met somebody like this and we decided to do it like that. I'm taking very seriously the collaborations I have. And we met, I knew about Vitra indirectly, and I looked into it, and it seemed to me an interesting company for the reason is that you have, or Vitra have, mixed capacities. There aren't many, or maybe none, companies that have all the different capacities that are in the bathroom area under the same roof, being the taps, the bathtubs, the shower area, the toilet, the wash basin, the furniture, the lighting, the accessories. It's a whole thing around. So designing in this environment, not a product, but a collection, as we did, this is something which was very attractive for me. Now, if you remember our first meeting, what I liked in our first meeting is the Simit, but
I think we should also talk about a little bit about the food, because it's the how the bathroom project starts is mostly with the food. So
yeah,
we should also talk about the how much you like Turkish food and so on. We
yes,
can also talk.
I'm getting there. So
Okay.
I've been to Turkey before. I've been to Turkey many times, and I'm happy about each and every one of my landing there. And I have great friends, and I have great experiences and friendships and so on. But when we met first, you said, "Arik, we are not ready." Do you remember this?
Did I say this?
Yes, you said we are not ready to start. You said, "I want to start when we are ready and you are ready to give this relationship the chance to do the best." And
Great.
I really appreciated it. Of course, I was a little bit disappointed because I was so eager to start, but I was going backward into my Zen meditation, and I said, "Okay," and I wait. And then when we met again, and it was in Isch in Germany, sometime ago, to say, "Arik, now I feel we are ready to start," and that means that our starting point was in such a level that permitted us to communicate, not on the excitement frustration level, but
Right.
on the innovation projection level. Now the food is extremely important, because when you close your eyes and smell and taste is connecting us to place, time, memories, history, cultural identity, and so on. Both my grandparents come from Bulgaria, which is not far away. So all the Balkanic food, the sounds, is some of the songs, and so on. It's things that I know from my grandmother's or from my mother's kitchen. So I feel at home. I feel at home when I come to Turkey. I feel at home when I sit and get this social, different kind of feeling. A meeting in Istanbul and a meeting in Germany, it's not better or worse. It's just very different. So.
Bratwurst und Simit.
So I appreciate all this, because these are elements that are coming into my system and being part of the identity of the projects and the collaboration. Of course, first project is the most difficult, because we have to get to know each other. We have to know the people in the company. I have to make or try to succeed or make everybody believe in my vision, because at the end of the day, if you look at it from a distance, you say, this is a crazy design. Companies and design, it's a crazy situation. You call to somebody that you maybe think you'd have the potential to potentially do something interesting. The other guy look at it and say, maybe we could potentially do something. And everybody invests in it, but invest in time, in energy, in money, and everything. And hopefully everybody has the hope that this thing will work. So it's really a kind of a magic when it works already between people, because before we met, we never talked. When we met once, you said you're not ready, we talked once a year. And then we talked every week, if not more, and text and weekends and sharing very personal parts of our lives and so on. This is great. This is the part. The world is about people. That's what I like.
Yeah, I think if I can summarize, I mean, that all this process is from my side. I think it was super exciting. and super dense also at the same time. I mean, it was kind of physically, emotionally very dense. So, and then I remember that you sent us a lot of drawings, a lot of ideas, and then we discussed and shared and so on, back and forth. And it was I mean, kind of a very dense. This is what I can say. And then we work a lot, but I don't remember any time, or I also don't remember that in the company, because it's a big company, and then working in a big group of people to realize all these things. Nobody complained about being tired. So I mean, we were all very excited. Sometimes, I mean, people lost their maybe beliefs, or like, I mean,
in me
and hopes. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was a very exciting process from the very beginning.
I always feel that when I create a new product, I want to call it product because I think we are creating languages and
Yes.
a way of communication somehow. When you do something that is really new, or there is newness in it, it's frightening.
Yeah.
Frightening in a positive way. I mean, it puts everybody in a place to say, hold on, can we deal with it? Can we build it? Can we sell it? Can we introduce it? Does it fit? Does it not fit? So at that moment, I know that it's a good thing.
Arik,
Yeah.
I think this is a very interesting topic. It was not in the questions, but may I ask you an additional question, so to say? Because I know everybody wants innovation, everybody wants some novelties, things to be changed and so on. But people, when they see the change, when they see the new things, they are also frustrated, as you say. I mean, what is this dilemma? How you understand this dilemma? Because I mean, you have experienced it more than me, for sure.
You mean between what you think is new and what is in front of you?
No. I mean, I'm asking like, so if you ask people what they want something to be new and novelties, innovations, and so on. They talk like this, but when they see the new things, they get frustrated. So
there's few. It is an interesting topic in design and semiology and
right.
the philosophy of moving forward. In the 1970, Bell, the American telephone company, made a public research. Okay, they had this classic shell telephone in plastic.
Yes.
So they made 10 colors: blue, yellow, green, blah, 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 black, and white. And they had 5,000 people coming in, and everybody had a questionnaire: who you are, what you do, what you like, what you don't like, and so, like statistics. And then at the end, they say, if we'd give you a telephone, which color would you like? And people say green, yellow, and orange, and so and so. Before going out, leaving the location, they say, oh, you are Mr. Erdem Akon? Okay. Please choose a phone to take home with you as a present. And 99.99% of the people chose black or white. So they take the paper and say, oh, sorry, you said 5 minutes ago that you would have liked to have at home green. Why do you take black or white? So it seems that the public has more courage in their imagination than they have in their practice, which is absolutely normal and which is understandable. But I think form and function is an important paradigm of design, but at the same time, to find where is the crack between novelty, freedom, application, and reality, it's really so many different parameters, especially in the projects like what we did. If we have done only a WC, or only a shower, or only a faucet, one mono product, we say, okay, well, this is the idea, this is the philosophy, and so on. But when we talked about a voyage, when we came with this name that came out of endless discussion between you and me, agreements and disagreements, it's because it is actually really a trip. It is really a voyage, and it is for me. And you asked me why, remember? And I said, I always have this image every day when I practice, when I go to, is when I close the door behind me and I go into the bathroom, For me, I go to a new space. It's not in my home. It's not. It's I can travel anywhere. I can travel anywhere. And this happened to me. I lived for 4 months in Japan in early 90s, 1991. And when you go to the Sento, when you go to the public bath, and I lived in the dormitory of a company I worked with at the time. I won a big competition for Seiko Epson. It was a fantastic experience. I was in the countryside, lost between the rice paddies, but every day was a meditation. Every day, every single day, every part of the day. And taking a bath is not, in Europe, in our side of in the Occident part, you take a shower, you go in, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes if you're really long, if you don't do your fingernails and so on, you go in, you do your stuff, up you go out, you're ready, you've done it. In Japan, it takes 40 minutes, an hour and 10. So you go to distill and purify your body and mind from the day, get ready for your sleep, get ready for your night trip, and so on. That's a real voyage. That's a real meaning of what we have done, what I've tried to do. And this is why the elements are an ensemble. I'm sliding into the other discussions about voyage itself, but I don't know what you felt when you saw the first prototypes. When we were in the room there in the factory, some people looked at it and say, we couldn't put this kind of language together. What is this things? And for me, it was seeing like music notation, where each interior architect or person who buys or look for his new bathroom, how to compose. We say the word. Why did you compose?
Yes.
Your plate. A cook, a chef will compose the plate, and musician will compose the music. And we compose the interiors. And composing interiors is creating music to the eyes, to the function, to the hand, to the body, and so on. And that's, I think, what this voyage is making.
Honestly speaking, Arik, I mean, all these metaphysical things, voyage and traveling and Zen, everything is nice. But I mean, what I like about this collection is not all these things. I mean, I think it's a very quite sophisticated collection, and I like it so much. But let me share. No, it's with the designer, so you can.
I'm not speaking anymore.
No, I want to share. I want to share the screen and show you what I like about this collection.
Okay.
So, 1 second. So, okay, we can create this thing, but I mean, I think thanks to we can start with the WC. What I notice is in the last 8 years in Vitra that mostly we start with the wash basins, not with the toilets. So, but this collection can allow us to start with the WC, and then you can grow around the WC area. And then you can create your own world. So, I mean, how much crowded you want, you can do, and then up to this maybe, and then you can combine it with the wash basin and other units, and then you can create other atmospheres. I think this idea of changing the starting point is quite innovative, and I find it also very poetic because the WC is mostly set and alone.
Yes, but that takes me back to Japan, because in Japan, going to the toilet is not going to a place which is dirty. We have to disinfect it, and it's ugly, and it smells, or it stinks. Doesn't smell. It smells. It doesn't stink. Okay. Anyway, I think human's poo is worse than a horse in terms of smell. Nature is so much cleaner in that way, but it's going to purify in Japan. It's going to a place where you are evacuating what you don't need anymore, and evacuation not as a negative thing, right?
Right.
when we started working, and again, I was reflecting on the entire environment, is that for me, as you said rightly, the toilet is the same thing. It's this place when you have a little dust in the corner, you never know where to put the toilet roll. Everybody has magazines and books, but nobody wants to admit, and you don't know where to put them. And then now you have the phone. How many people in percentage drop their phone into the toilet just because you have nowhere to put it? You know, this is a common practice. Yeah. So I took all these parameters and say, okay, let's have the toilet not being the most important thing. It's not toilet is WC more important than the wash basin. It's an integrated part of the purification process of a psychotherapy, self-treatment, self-analyze, that you know what your body is and you feel how aware you are. And this place participates in the overall environment. And because the quality of the ceramics that you're doing, the quality of all the connectivity with the VCare and everything that we have worked on, developed, and the simple, normal WC should be a place where when you sit on your WC, you shouldn't feel that you are like 3 kilometers away from your thing. You can be sort of connected. And this is I think is good. You can do that. Pull your best book or something you want to look at and put your phone somewhere. And so it's hyper functional, visually completely new. Geometrically, it's not anymore this sort of form stuck to the wall, but it's a whole different level. So it takes away the eye from what we here in Europe think is not totally hygienic, because when you're at home, it's different. But when you go to a restaurant and somebody else came out of the toilet, the first thing you do is you get in and you scan, say, whoa, like on the airplane. This is fantastic. In Sweden, in Stockholm, there's a restaurant. I love it. You have to have a number of toilet seats in relationship to the number of people you sit at the restaurant, right? So
is it equal?
No, it's not equal, because then you eat in the toilet. But it's whatever the ratio is. This restaurant had to have 2 toilets.
Okay.
That's the law. But it doesn't say it has to have 2 cabins. So when you open the door, you get into a space of whatever 2 square meters, and there are 2 toilet seats. So you are hopeless. You don't know, where should I sit?
Who's coming next?
Yeah, no, who just left? And where did he or she? Do I want to go there? Do I don't want to go there? Do I feel it's nice or not? It's a trip. I love it. It reminded me, we started working, and it reminded me that experience, me walking into the door, say, hold on, where do I go? So I think bringing a positive thought, a laugh, a thought, a smile, into a space that we normally consider not funny, not smiley, not clean, and so on, it's already a psychological innovation, psychological plus to the design and to the object and to the place.
Yes, I think it also very much intersects with the philosophy and the idea and the strategy of Vitra, because we want to make the bathrooms kind of not laboratory-like spaces in the homes, today homes, but we want them to look more domestic, and then create more domestic landscapes. So I mean, everything is changing in the homes today. So, and the kitchens has changed the last 15 years, but the bathrooms are still kind of didn't completed the evolution, I think. So, and then the project Voyage, I think, helped us a lot. And thank you very much for your creativity and for your all efforts. Maybe more thank you for your efforts and creativity, because you spend more efforts than the creativity. And I also believe that the efforts is much more important. And thank you very much for your all this beautiful work. And it helped us a lot, because it gave us a lot of spaces for storage many things. rather than just open the space and put everything there and forget what you got there. But so you just put the things and organize in a nice way and more humanistic way, and then so it is also gives you I think a mental wellness. So then maybe I start to understand your Zen philosophy about this voyage.
You know, the storage is a place, is a function, but the way I wanted to deal with it, and there was also a discussion we had constantly in the company with the marketing, with you, with the people, with the technicians, and so on. I wanted to deal with the wall. You know, since I come from sculpture and painting, I wanted to deal with the wall, some kind of a canvas, but a three-dimensional canvas. So first is the people, the interior designer or the owner or whatever, have the possibility to make the combination the way they like it. So I was envisioning for your technical team saying, I don't want don't want modularity, I want flexibility. So if somebody wants to put the unit here and not here, or 1 centimeter left to the right, it should be possible. And that flexibility is open to everybody in the world. And this is unique. The second thing is I wanted to deal with depth, because what is killing most of bathroom spaces is that there is somebody somewhere, somehow, for some reason, created standards. So the cabinets must be that deep, and it must be that high, and it must be that long, and it must be because the faucet comes here and because the outlet is there. So you are in a psychedelic environment of non-flexibility, and what we want to generate. So we have units which are, I don't know, like 12, 13 centimeter deep, which is very narrow. But at the end of the day, when you have a large, deep cabinet, every 6 months or every 2 years, you get to the end, you open everything. The creams are not working anymore because the oil is separated. All the medicine, everything is overdated. You have to throw it out. It's those deep spaces are useless. You don't store more. You don't see. You see less. We wanted to create visibility through function. So the outcome is simple. The company spend less money and time and material in building a cabinet that is doing the same function as a deeper cabinet, for example. It's smaller, it's more intelligent, but also this difference in price investment is projected to the clients, which is what the beautiful thing. It's an affordable, fantastic, flexible, interesting solution for bathroom. And this is what I appreciate, that you have come out of your way. And for industry, it's very different to go out of their track and do something new and different.
No, honestly speaking, I love so much the new proportions that it is narrower and then it's flexible, as you mentioned, and then you can create many looks. I love the new aesthetics because I think it's all about at the end of the day aesthetics and all the functionality, all the feasibility and everything. It should look also feasible. It should also look functional, and then you at the end of the day you see and buy it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, normally we say I think, right? I would say I was thinking, blah blah blah. I would say I feel. I felt so good, or I felt so bad, whatever. This is think. This is feel. What I want to do in my everyday life, at home, with my family, with myself, with my friends, with my surrounding, with my partners. For me, you're not a client, you're a partner. Okay? With the work I'm doing, with my art and so on, I want to do, I feel, and I think. I want to think with my heart and feel with the brain. And I want to, if we manage to do this, it's all possible, but it's a little, like connecting things in a different way that we are not used to because somebody has injected us the same sort of rules. And, if we manage to do this, a whole world is different.
Right.
Thoughts are different. Speech is different. Communication is different. Words are different. Our language between you and me is to be projected, and that's what we also worked on, all the way down to the catalog, to the communication with the sales force, with the people that come into into the individual showrooms and so on. I spend a lot of time in showrooms and in fairs and all this to listen how people speak about the system, you know, about what they sell. So it's the flexibility and the mentality of the product is tied up directly with the mentality and flexibility of the company and the design.
So what I understand from your saying is that the what makes the product or the outcome different is that the dialogue between the designer and the company is different. So that it's the outcome of this actually.
It's not only the dialogue or it's not the end of the process. It's the way we walked together.
Okay.
And you know, we know, and you well said at the beginning that it was emotional. Yes, it was emotional. That there's a lot of moment and time in the project that we did not agree.
Yes. No, I remember.
And we still don't agree on some things, which is okay. But nevertheless, we had the openness to discuss, and sometimes you were giving, and it's not about giving or taking. Sometimes we talked a few days later, and you say, you know what? Now I see it. That looks good, yes. And you know, I also saw other things because you see the company, factory, working force, reality, and so on. I see the creative, the studio, and so each one of us see. You try to see me, and I try to see you, and the great thing about
I think the best thing is that because it was like you stopped, you frozen.
No, but the great thing, because you froze me, I wanted to say that the great thing about you being in your position in the company is that you are a designer. You come from that world, so you understand the body language and the language I'm speaking, because you have the similar tools that you acquired in your professional life and that permits to the company. And I think this is a great courage, and the best way the company has managed is to put in this position an experienced designer to be the shock observer, the buffer, but also the translator and the loudspeaker of the design language. And this is really good.
Thank you, Arik. Thank you very much. So I think we can talk about a little bit of today's word, and then we can talk about the future of the bathroom also. But first of all, I mean, we are going through very, very interesting and strange days, and every day it's becoming more interesting and strange. So and then the new normal even is not normal anymore. So I mean, what happened the last week in US, and all this protest against racism, which is coming back. We thought it is already passed away during the World War II, but it's now very much alive. We see. So how do you see the today's world? First of all, we can talk about this.
Well, this is it's a big subject. How many hours we have? But if I would like to distill and synthesize.
You got 10 minutes, Arik.
Perfect. Okay. So I think the most important thing is life matters. It's not white or black or yellow, or just because somebody is angry and for all reasons and so on. But life matters, and that brings me this situation. This last 3 months being at home, changing it brought few things to my system, but I think to everybody's system somehow. It brought legitimacy to practical solutions that we have rejected or ignored. Acceptance of strengths and weaknesses that we have been aware of, but it's never been forced in that way. But it also brought extreme self-awareness to everybody and to his environment. Now the question is, and as I said yesterday when we had a little talk or just before, is that sadly, Homo sapiens do not learn from history. I'm saying sadly, because we forget too fast. things like what's happening now happened in 68 and happens in slavery 400 years ago.
Yes.
Nothing is new in that.
Yeah.
Being Jewish, I can pull a list from here till Egypt 5,000 years ago. It's just, that's not the point. The point is we have to remember what was wrong, fix it, and go forward. We have to manage the expectations. We should not suppose or think that it will happen to us. It will not happen. We have to design our future. I use the word design because it implies many different things. We have to design our future practically and intensively and personally. So the word went global. Now we are Zoom. You are 6,000 kilometers away from me. I feel as if you're here, always there. And it is not the only solution. It can't be the only solution, but local effort. Local means here in my room with my kids, like you have kids, we have kids. Our hope is our kids. We are in the middle of the mess. We are getting the shit from everywhere or projecting ideas or other problem solving and so on. But the kids are the future. To adapt a new social code, a new social behaving takes between 30 to 50 years. And you know very well, Turkey not so long ago was a roller coaster of emotions, of riots, if somebody looked at the TV 6 months ago, would say, "Oh my God," I was worried. I was seriously worried, and this is worrying in the U.S. But it's worrying. You go out of your house, it's worrying if you are sensitive to all this. So, but we choose to be inert in many ways. Somebody fight in the street. It's not easy to go and say, "Hey guys, stop." It's not easy because you are not sure if you get a piece of metal on your head, or you get shot, or you get spit on. You're not sure. So, but aggressiveness is not a solution. Aggressiveness is a solution. Is the reaction to a certain amount of stress that each part of the population lives in a different way. For example, a guy in the Philippines, right, did not choose, and probably hardly participated in the melting of the North Pole, right? But the consequence of the melting of the North Pole, of us taking airplanes and whatever, is that his village is going to be covered with water in no time. Okay? He didn't choose this. Your kid, my kid, and everybody else's kid did not order the pollution in the world, the pesticide in the world, and said it's funny for me to see people walking with a mask, standing in line with a mask to buy cigarettes. 300,000 people die because of cigarettes every year. Nobody spoke smoking. But then you have something like a corona, which is another variation of a flu, etc., etc. I don't say it's terrible, and of course every life lost is terrible. But 35,000 people die in Europe from normal flu every year. Did anyone talk about it?
I want to interrupt you because if I let you, you can talk for hours and hours. Because you talk about the guy in the Philippines and you talk about the smoking and so on. But okay, but I understand from your saying, and also what I read from the newspapers and so on, that the world is getting crazy. So what do you see in this crazy world? How are we gonna use the bathrooms? So how do you see the future of the bathrooms?
It drops me back to what I said before. The human body has not changed, and it's not going to change because of Corona either, or because of riots and so on. But
we can send this WC the next 20 years.
What is changing is our awareness. So the awareness to our body, such as you are what you eat, right? So if you eat you become If you eat great, you become great. And this is the practice of your body, the practice of any kind of sport and so on and so on. So awareness, and this is what we say, well-being. You look in Friday, you sit in a cafe, half of the people have a yoga mat under their armpit because they are going to yoga. This is like, who thought? If my father looks at it, they think the world go crazy.
Sure.
But we think it's normal. We say, shit, well, I have my yoga class in a few minutes. So
Yes.
our self-awareness,
It's changing.
managing expectation, and reacting to the situation, this is what will change. So what will change is that when you brush your teeth, you're going to close the water tap so you don't lose water. That's what's going to change. So now you want to design the tap differently. Well, I would like to put on the tap, you know, but this now becomes a patent pending. And this is my idea. Everybody record Arik Levy copyright right now. Okay, copyright Arik Levy. If you put on your faucet, this is a great idea, Erdem. We should do it. Should I say it in public? Yes.
I take my notes.
Okay. If we put water reader, right? You open your thing, you start saying 1 liter, 2 liter, 3 liters, then you understand what you're doing. You know, because you're in a business, how much average water you use in a shower. What is it, 6 liter? And then you design a different thing that has more air into it and then becomes 5.5 liters, you know, whatever. But the normal person have no idea. No idea. Mm-hmm. So this is something we should bring. If we, as designers and companies like you, can bring the awareness of what we do and give it numbers and indications which are visible, then we will create this progress. But you know, right. The bottle will not change. You still have to wake up in the morning. You have to go. You need to pee. You need this. You want to shower. You want to shower in a nice space. You don't want to hit yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself. You need a sink to be able to splash the water and not to have them going to the floor and so on. So what will change is the configuration at home, the amount of space we are giving to places that we appreciate. You know, right. In Italy, look at Italy. Italy is amazing. Italy, bathrooms in Italy is as big as the bedroom. It's big, it's a room. It's the architecture is designed as a room. Bathrooms in France is micronic. In many places, you know, you can hardly go into the toilet. You cannot move left and right. You know, it's like so because.
Arik, you know why? Because bidet is missing in France.
Of course. On top of it, on top of it, yeah, it's it's a very rare thing, toilet in France. Mm-hmm. This is why you see all the tubes outside the buildings, because they had to add it on. It's imagine living 200 years ago. We are talking about minor problems where 200 years ago the problems were major. Everything was major. What to eat, yes. How to drink, how to sleep, what do I breathe? Do I breathe? Am I alive? I'm not alive. This was, you know, fundamental. We are, I don't like the way my car starts. I think this croissant is a little bit. It's ridiculous. We are ridiculous, and we have to give more attention to tangible elements of our everyday life to improve everyday life. I designed. It's a little story. We have 2 minutes. Okay, I designed a perfume bottle for Issey Miyake. Some 10 years ago, more or less. And they asked me to do the packaging. And they gave me the rules, this deep, this high, you know, like you with your tubes and this come in, this come out.
Yes.
And I made the packaging, instead of whatever, 17 centimeter high, 16.4 centimeter high. And so I make my presentation, the guys marketing and display, you know, everybody say, hey, we asked you, the brief says 17, why do you do 16.4? Look at the the shelving, the pharmacy, the duty free. I said, look, this is 6 millimeter difference. Visually, it makes no difference. But for the world, it makes a big difference. And I say, why? I said, because 20 million packages, 6 millimeters smaller. You know how many trees are these? How many detergent it is? How many trucks it is? How many delivery space and storage and stock and blah, 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 blah. It's huge. And that's what I meant to say before. Local action, global impact. So when we pack our products, today with our cabinet, you can put twice as much storage space with our cabinets than in a normal. You can reuse and recompose our bathroom with our toolbox in an endlessness of ways. So people, when they move, instead of throwing out and buying something new, which is sometimes the interest of companies because you're there to produce and sell.
Yes.
But should not be your primary attention. That's people buy new. But if somebody can reuse and then add some new elements, this is important. Local action, global impact.
So what I understand from your point is that in the near future, form will follow awareness.
Awareness will dictate or will help dictating how our everyday life should be.
Okay.
And what will be useless will stop existing. It was interesting. The interesting thing with one part of Corona at the beginning, interesting because China, the biggest production site in the world, is closed.
Right.
Suddenly, you could not have a screw that long, but there's a lot of things which are useless. That I didn't miss anything. I went to the same organic food shop. I went to the same agriculture manufacturer producer where I buy my fruits and stuff and vegetables. I did not miss one thing that come from China. I did not. And but the world has stopped somehow. And it's a good moment to think, hold on, do we really need all this? And do we use the word need in the right place?
Right.
This is important. So
this is very critical.
Yes, and so it comes back to your question, what do I really need in the bathroom? You need the water to come out of the pipe, right?
Right.
This way, that. You need the water. If you have a beautiful tap with no water, it doesn't help you, right? You need a container to capture the water so they don't go to the floor and ruin the floor and you have an insurance problem with your neighbor. You need you need to place where you can evacuate what you need to evacuate and it's hygienic and so on. So you need to find your bathroom at night when you wake up. Maybe that happens automatically. And if you are a hygienic freak and you don't want to touch anything, maybe that should open for itself, which is things we worked on and you worked on before.
Yes.
And so on. So I think nothing should become an obsession, but everything should be considered.
Okay.
How do you feel about the fact that today we have agreed mostly of everything and it's for the first time in history, Erdem,
that's the first time in history, because I think it's we have a live session and we are so people are watching us. I mean, if it would be private, I mean, there would be much harder discussions. You know it, Arik.
What is hard?
And I try to be kind because I'm representing not only myself but the company also. So
I'm saying everything I think and feel. I don't say anything corporate because I'm not. But the only thing frustrating in this session is that I love people and I don't see all the people that see us. So I want to say hello to all of you. I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to be able to meet sometimes some of you or all of you. And, following somebody's work or a company on Instagram say, follow me, are you follow me? And so it's not about follow or not follow. Follow is a social code today. It's about being interested and share interest. This is really important. So I think it's the beauty of what we do, art designers, artists, and so on. We are visual communicators. We are telling a visual story. We are part of why the world becoming hopefully a better place, and we are responsible. So that's responsibility, and the slap is coming very fast. Something which is not good does not sell.
Yes.
And if it doesn't sell, you take it out of production, and it's out. It's a sad story for the investment, but when you did it, you thought it was good, and you believed in it, and then it worked or it didn't work. But the public is important. The public has a word to say. The public, and come back to what you said before, not necessarily know all the time what they need. As Steve Jobs said, tell them what they need, don't ask them what they need. Sometimes I will come to a restaurant and I say, I don't want to choose. I want somebody to choose for me, and I want to have each part of that experience to be an experience instead of a repetition of that kind of It's like walking in the street and getting an unexpected kiss, you know. So I think that's the beauty of what we do.
Did you get any unexpected kiss?
Always.
Okay, great. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm not happy about all of them, but it's nice to get. You know, there's people that give free hugs. I think this is fantastic.
I think if we started to talk about kisses and free hugs and so on, it's time to end the conversation, Arik, because I know what's going to come next after this. It's based on my previous experiences. I want to thank you a lot. I mean, it was a really very deep conversation. I mean, I felt my goosebumps a lot of times. It was very emotional, and it was there are many things that I can learn from you. I mean, after all these years. I mean, we have been working together with the last 3 years, I think, for this project. 4 years. So I mean, it's amazing that we still there are many things that I get excited. So this is the beauty. Thank you very much.
The big question for us is, what's next, Erdem? What's next?
Okay.
That's our next task. Our next task is what's next? What do we do next?
You mean like who is the next guest in the Meet the Designer Talks?
For example.
We have a meeting. We have a meeting together, Arik, next week.
Yeah.
You know.
Fantastic. Anyway, I'm happy to be the first guest of Vitra, and you know, I'm the only individual in the world. I'm individual like you are, the only Erdem in the world, of course.
Thank you.
And as another aspect, I'm the only individual in the world that works with the 2 Vitras in the world.
Right.
And the Swiss Vitra.
Right.
It's quite funny.
This is interesting. So you are the bridge.
I don't know if I'm the bridge, because I don't know if you guys walk to each other, but I'm enjoying that sort of your agreement of you not doing your office chair and that on doing a WC for the office or something. But it's fun, and I look forward for our launch. What I look most forward to is listening to people, going into a showroom anonymously and listening to people talking. And this is where my second phase of learning is. People will talk, and people intuitively have actually quite great ideas. They might say a few words that will tick some other things in my mind or yours, and bring us to improve and make the system become a real toolbox in people's hand to create. You know, with what we did, you can create I don't know, a 0.7 square meter micro bathroom space, all the way to a 50 square meter bathroom space, and this is unique and special.
I think it's nice about the design, and to work with the designers like you is like it's a continuous process. So there are many milestones like launches or prototype reviews and other things. But the most beautiful thing about it, it's a continuous process, so that you are still wondering what is gonna next, what's gonna happen, how can we improve, and so on. It's not just like do and then get the agreement and then put the product and so on. It's not like a process like this, which I think is very much human. Yeah. Thank you very much, Arik.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, and then we also thank all the listeners, and as Arik said, all the followers for sharing this special conversation. Thank you very much.
Salut.
Salut.